Where there is no vision, the people will perish. Hi, I'm Alicia Butler Pierre, and that's an African proverb you just heard. It rings true in so many ways, especially in business. Think about it. How can your company grow if your team, customers, and overall ecosystem aren't even aware of the direction in which to grow? And if left unchecked for too long, they'll eventually become either robotic, aimlessly performing tasks, or they'll leave. It's impossible to build a culture of operational excellence in an environment like this. If this sounds like your company or one that you know of, then you're in luck. We're about to hear from a passionate entrepreneur who believes that ultimately, good wins if leaders have a carefully crafted vision and access to the right people, processes, and tools. It's time to start steering our ships in the right direction. This is Season 13, Episode 164. Let's start the show.
Welcome to Business Infrastructure, the podcast about curing back office blues of fast-growing businesses. If you're a business owner or operator looking for practical tips and solutions to scaling your business in a sustainable manner, you're in the right place. Now here's your hostess, Alicia Butler Pierre.
Having a tough time trying to explain ideas over a video conference? Try the Think Smart Whiteboard. It's the fastest whiteboard software in the world and allows you to upload flowcharts and write on them while your colleagues are watching remotely. Call us today for a free demo. The number is 1-866-584-6804 or visit us online at getmytablet.com. Now that's smart. Think smart. We are well into Season 13, where we're focusing on operational excellence. And joining me today, also in Atlanta, Georgia, is someone I've known for about 15 years, Lynda Martin. She's the founder and CEO of Goodwin Growth Works. She's also a professional EOS implementer, and she helps entrepreneurs live their ideal life. What's an EOS implementer? Well, you're about to find out. In fact, Lynda will share with us how she implemented the EOS to support one of her clients in increasing their sales by 32% for 2 years in a row. I bet that got your attention, didn't it? Lynda, this is a long overdue conversation, and I'm so happy we can make this happen. How are you?
I'm doing great, Alicia, and it is so much fun to connect and be able to be in this kind of conversation with you, because what you do to help companies get on track just aligns so much with what I love to do.
So knowing that you started your consulting company, the one you have now for 18 years, the past 18 years, Goodwin Growth Works, at what point, Lynda, did you start to incorporate EOS into, or was it always a part of it? I'm not sure how old it is, and I definitely want you to tell us what EOS actually is. But before we even get there, at what point did you start to bring in that framework into your consulting?
Somewhere around 2012. I'm always looking for new resources, for better ways to do things. And one of the most difficult things I find for privately held businesses that are growing rapidly is how to do business planning. Because business planning, writing a business plan can be stodgy, it can feel confining, it can feel like a lot of work for nothing. And what entrepreneurs need is something that guides them through the year and the day. That's the kind of business planning they need. So I was always looking for a better business plan. And when I found, through a coaching association I was part of, I found this 2-page business plan that I thought was just wonderful. And so I used it in 2012 for all my clients, and the results were great. So over the holiday, the New Year holiday, I started to dig in deeper and actually read the book and stuff. and I was like, wow, this guy's put together the system I've been sort of doing, but he has tested it in 100 companies. He's made it streamlined. I love it. And then I'm going to just look at their website. And then I found out, wow, you can get trained in this. You can do this. And so then in 2013, I went through what we call boot camp and got on track to be certified as a professional EOS implementer.
So the $1,000,000 question, what exactly is EOS?
So EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System. It is designed to get the owners and founders of privately held companies everything they wanted when they founded the business: the time, the freedom, the impact. And we do that by implementing, it's a simple system of practical tools that really focus on three things within the business: vision, traction, and healthy. So vision, where are you going? How are you going to get there? And traction, how do you hold each other accountable and be disciplined about implementation, which can be a challenge in an entrepreneurial company and in a family-owned company. You know, I always say, honey, you missed your sales goals. Well, how do you have that conversation? And stay healthy. Have open, honest communication that is focused on moving the company forward. And again, with family, when you start businesses with family and friends, that can get dicey.
Yeah.
And then once we get the leadership team, and part of this work is developing a leadership team that really begins to take some of the weight off the founder. As long as the founder's in control of everything, the company is hitting a ceiling. They're stymied from growth, and it can be really frustrating. Once leaders are brought in who can really take on and own different aspects of the business, then the company is freed up to grow. And once you get the leadership team on the same page, then the rest of the organization follows.
We always hear, as entrepreneurs, we always hear you have to work on your business and not in your business. But what's not always clear is how exactly do you do that? And it sounds like through EOS, that's what you are able to help these founders actually not just see, but be able to actually develop a plan to achieve it.
That's exactly right, Alicia. It's so, I don't know if you've noticed this, but entrepreneurs can be kind of all over the place.
No, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you give them too strict and complicated a path to follow, they just won't.
Yeah.
They've got too much on their mind. They've got too many ideas. They've got too many things to do. And that is really the genius of what Gino Wickman created. It is simple, practical tools. And any one of those tools will help a company move forward. But when you put the whole thing together and then use the process that we have developed to implement the tools, because if you do them in a certain order, we have discovered it works better.
Okay.
Then that's how you get the maximum value out of implementing the system. And really, that's where you get things like 32% sales growth in a year without killing the leaders.
Does EOS stress the importance of operations? Because it sounds like a good bit of it is around the leadership. But once you start to get that leadership team in place, does the focus, I don't want to say does it shift, but does at a certain point, does operations and processes start to become a part of that conversation?
Not until 10 o'clock on the first morning of the first meeting. In fact, operations is, in so many entrepreneurial companies, it is often either sales or operations that is the tail wagging the dog. So part of what we do that first morning, we work on who is accountable for what. one of the challenges a fast-growing entrepreneurial organization faces is that the way they got successful is that everybody kind of did everything and pitched in. Then there comes a point where that no longer works. People start tripping over each other. People start doing the same work twice. The people below them are getting conflicting direction. And so what we discovered is that the first thing you've got to tackle is really how the company is operating.
Yeah.
Who's accountable for what? What kinds of meetings are the leadership team? What kind of communication is the leadership team having? How are they solving issues that come up day to day? And how are they tackling the bigger projects that need to happen in order for some of the chaos to diminish? You know, the thing that always gets put aside. Well, we don't have time to document the processes. We're just going to keep doing it. We're answering the same question 20 times a week, but we don't have time to stop and teach everyone that. So we begin right off the bat identifying some of those, and we don't actually start working on the vision part, you know, core values, what's the 10-year target, what's the 3-year picture. We don't even start working on that for the first month.
So is it more of like a stopping the bleeding first before you get to the vision? Is that a way of describing it?
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, keep in mind, Alicia, that these are good companies. They're running well, but usually at the expense of the leaders. They're what a mentor of mine used to call, they're throwing their bodies at it. They're working 60, 70, 80 hours. They haven't taken a day off in a month or a year, or the worst case I ever saw, 3 years. They're all working really hard, trying really hard. They're selling well, but they know they could do better, and they're up against the ceiling. And sometimes they've made a big sale and now quality is suffering.
Yeah. Wow. You know, it sounds like you are helping them achieve that breakthrough to the next level to kind of stop the madness, because that's madness when you're working, grinding and grinding and grinding, but to have a breakthrough where things can flow a lot more seamlessly, you know, in terms of work and information. That's awesome, Lynda. You know, and I'm sure in 18 years, I know you must have a ton of success stories, but especially in the years since you've been implementing EOS to achieve this operational excellence, because really, to me, that's what it sounds like you're talking about. I would love if you can share some of those success stories with us and kind of walk us through the EOS process if you can.
Great.
To listen to the full interview and learn the specific steps Lynda used to implement EOS for her client, make sure you click the link in the description box below, and be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell. That way you'll know exactly when our next episode drops. Until then, keep operating smoothly.
Join us next week for another episode of Business Infrastructure with Alicia Butler-Pierre.